What is good? What's happening, everybody? It's your boy Ferris Milana, and welcome to another special episode of LGRN Reviews. And on this special episode, we are reviewing Season 2, Episode 6 of Winning Time, Rise of the Lakers Dynasty. It's a show on HBO Max, but I'm not alone. I'm never alone to go through the seedy world of the 80s. Champagne-soaked goggles of the NBA. It's the one, the only. It is Rob Snark. Rob, how are you?
Oh, I'm just fine. Not as champagne soaked, but you know, what's champagne? Like Canadian champagne, like stale beer soaked, maybe.
Okay. In order, fair champagne, apple cider.
Oh,
sparkling apple cider.
That's very nice.
It's fair champagne. But Rob, before we get into the review, though, I do want to preface this by saying, guys, I want y'all to remember that this video was filmed during the during the 2023 WGA SAG-AFTRA strikes, without the labor of the writers and actors currently on strike. Series being covered here wouldn't exist. So I want everyone to remember that while this review is being done, guys, without the writers, the actors, the show does not exist, and we're not having fun reviewing it. So remember that. But Rob, let's get right into it, man. We have multiple storylines coming into this episode. Right away, the Lakers won their second title, beating the Philadelphia 76ers 4-2. There's that little storyline of evolution and battle. People forget about the 80s. They always forget about the early part of the 80s. The 76ers were there. Then the late part of the 80s, the Pistons were there.
Yep.
Those two teams get forgotten because everyone thinks that entire 80s decade was Lakers Boston. You know, it's also too funny. There's a third team that no one talks about, Rob, that made it to the finals twice. The Houston Rockets.
Yeah.
They lost both appearances, unfortunately. But
they made up for it. They made up for it in the 90s.
Yeah, they made up for it in the 90s.
Yeah.
But there's that. So Rob, let's get right into it, man. Initially, What was your overall thoughts on the episode before we dive in storyline by storyline?
I know that it wasn't my favorite episode of the season by far. I think it's a shame that they skipped over an entire season just to get to you know, how the Lakers get swept in '83. But yeah, I would have liked to have seen the evolution more of Pat Riley, and as his confidence grows as a coach throughout that first season at the helm, first full season at the helm. Yeah, there's, you know, I wish we would have seen more from Dr. J. Like, he gets 2 championships, loses 1, wins 1, and then we just see him in the highlight. And it's not even the same Dr. J from the first season.
It's not James Asher. No, it isn't.
No, it's like, I wanted more Dr. J. Is that so wrong of me?
Rob, how do you like them jumping forward? The forward jumping.
I don't like it. Okay. I don't like it. I see what they're trying to get to. They're trying to, you know, maybe they're going to have, well, they got there, though. They jumped right ahead. They jumped through the whole season, basically, except for the big Norm Nixon trade. They stop in for that, and they stop in for Kareem's house burning down and stuff like that. They stop for that, the magic cookie stuff. They don't really stop much for anything else going on in the field. Like, they talk about the trade, then they never show Byron Scott, and they never show the big Dutch dude there. It's just, I thought he was Dutch. Like, I think he's
7 foot tall, of Swedish meat.
Yeah, but they just say that with anybody with the name Sven. Yeah. So, I think he is Dutch.
I don't know. I didn't look him up. I'm just going off what Jerry West said.
Yeah. One thing, like well, we'll get into it while we talk about the show a little bit more. We'll talk about Norm Nixon, but one part they don't talk about is that draft. They had to send their second round pick over to, I guess it's San Diego at the time.
Yeah, San Diego Clippers.
Yeah, they trade that to the Phoenix Suns, and that pick turns out to be Jeff Hornacek. So
are you seriously bringing up that Jeff Hornacek? What are we doing here, Rob?
Jeff Hornacek is part of that Norm Nixon trade. That's all I was saying.
Yeah, I know Jeff Hornacek as for 2 reasons. He was He was the coach for the New York Knicks. He's also the same player that got beat up by Jerry Stackhouse.
Yeah,
he's like out of nowhere. He's got beat up by Jerry Stackhouse.
Jerry Stackhouse is a mean man.
Yeah.
Part of the Raptors organization for quite some time too, coaching and stuff like that. I would have loved to have seen him as the coach, but things happen.
Yeah, you're right. But
I'll never say a bad word about Jerry Stackhouse.
I wouldn't either because I don't want to get punched in the face.
That's true. Yes.
So there's that. Also, to them. So sorry, man. Technical difficulties.
That's fine.
Brian, but like this trade, it's a really important trade in Lakers history.
Yep.
And they don't really talk about it.
No.
Like they don't. Like I don't understand. Like why don't we dive more deep in the like Byron Scott becomes a key figure in
he's Showtime. When you think Showtime, you're also thinking Byron Scott.
Yeah. Like you think of Byron Scott. And they're just like, yeah, we here's the thing.
He's a throw-in pick. He got him to throw in.
I also told him to throw in their first round pick. Who's the first round pick? Byron Scott.
They needed a backup for Kareem so bad or whatever. And now this guy they got was good. He was like an all ABA guy, and I think he played for the Spurs, I believe, as well. And he was a good basketball player. We'll see what happens with his time at the Lakers. I already know what happens, but not everybody.
You're old and you lived it. We got you.
How dare you?
All wrong.
How dare you, sir?
All wrong. Yeah, you're right, Rob. He is Dutch. He is Dutch. Yo, Jerry West was like Swedish meat.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
7 feet 1 Swedish meat.
Oh, he went to UCLA, of course.
Yeah.
Virginia Squire, San Antonio Spur, New York Net, Virginia Squire. Then he went to Milwaukee, the Clippers, and then the Lakers for 1 season. He only played for the Lakers for 2 seasons. And he didn't win a single title. Oh.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Hey, my bad. I mean, if you come on, man. Like,
you got to see it. You got to see him 1 brief second there on the sitting down while Kareem goes in to address the team after the crowd shows up to give him all their records and stuff like that, which is a great scene. You just see him with his mustache, just kind of sitting there looking at nothing. Like, oh, there's Sven.
Cool.
There he is.
Now, Rob, let's get down to storyline by storyline, right?
Okay.
Let's start it off by Magic. That storyline in his emotional evolution away from the basketball court with Cookie.
Yeah.
What do you think? How do you think they're playing it? How do you liking it? Do you like it? Do you find it tedious, annoying? Like, what are we going here?
No, not annoying at all. Like Cookie's such an important part of his life, but it doesn't like it. It seemed to me like it must have happened in real life. It must have happened around this time that they get engaged. But like on the show, it seems fresh, doesn't it? Like just the episode before, she was with Virginia, and then then she's going to a convention in San Diego. And
well, Rob, the last episode they were in 1982. Right?
Yeah. There's that whole year.
It
just seems like they rushed it. Like why couldn't they have taken one other episode, just kill it, like just go. Add a few months in between. I think that's all it needed. And just spread out 1 more or whatever. I think you're just rushing too fast to get to the 83-84.
It's 7 episodes.
Yeah.
That's dumb.
Put another one in there.
Why? What's wrong with I don't understand. Why are people so mad about 10 episodes? Why are some people get like
you don't need it? Like again, you don't. I've said this before. 10, like having that as a thing or whatever is the paradigm. I don't think it works. A lot of time you're stretching things out. I just think with the 7, you just put another one in there. Like 8 is fine. 8 is fine if you feel like you're having to jump over stuff, and if you're rushing, just put 1 more episode in. It's not like you're going to 12 or 13.
No,
you're just going to 8.
Yeah. So I quite enjoyed. I love the part where she goes to the convention and she's surrounded by racists. Like,
well, yeah.
Just the urban demographic.
The urban demographic.
Yeah. And then like, oh, we're trying to be trend. The trends start in LA, New York.
Yeah,
not East Lansing. You're like, bro.
Yeah, 50-something-year-old white men sure know that. Like,
Yeah.
look at me. Like,
hmm
if I'm not a trendsetter, I don't know who is.
hmm And then Magic just comes up and just like saves the day.
Yeah,
Okay.
I love me some Hecht. I love me some Hecht.
What is Hecht?
No idea. Whoever
You
they
ever
were.
wore Hecht?
I don't know if that's an actual, if that's like a business or a label. I don't think it's a label. I don't know what it is.
I think she's
I
trying to
have
sell
never heard of it.
clothes.
Yeah,
So there's that.
it could be a store though. You know
Probably.
what I mean? Yeah,
Like Abercrombie and Fitch,
maybe.
you know, the men who are half naked all the time, just walking around. You're like, dude, put on a shirt. Like, what's going
Yeah.
on here?
Look,
Like,
all right. Yeah, we
if
get it.
you're
Like,
trying to
guys,
sell
we get
shirts
it.
and you don't have a shirt on,
Yeah,
like, I don't understand this.
yeah,
Like, what's going on here?
that's right.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
But yeah, but it was kind of like that storyline was kind of like it's kind of like most of the storylines are not kind of put back on the back burner.
Yeah.
Because there's bigger storylines emerging, like the Boston LA rivalry, that stuff. But then there's also another massive one. But I want to go to more of these auxiliary um, storylines. The Kareem storyline, where he's like, no one called, like
Yeah.
nobody. It's like, yeah, nah. It's like, why? It's like your disposition, man. They're not. They don't. They don't want to. You're mean to men. You're mean to people.
Yeah.
That's and they
Did
want
you
people. Yeah.
did
That's
you
just like,
notice who was playing his? I believe his, what was his agent name? Tom Collins or something like that.
yeah. I recognize him. I just don't know what's his name.
It's Jay Moore.
Oh,
Jay Moore married Jeannie Buss this year.
get out of here.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Now I know why she likes the show.
Yeah, I guess so. Can't get mad. Her husband's on it.
Yeah, she get, you know, like she get really, I can't shit on my husband's project.
I guess.
Like, you know, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, a couple people, like Jerry West don't like it. Kareem is not really fond of it. Norm Nixon says they got the magic beef a little wrong. Yeah, but but overall he likes it. It's fine.
Yeah.
But overall, yeah.
Yeah, he's a
So,
big part of it until,
yeah,
now.
yeah, Norm, his son plays him. Like it is, he's definitely in there.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll talk about Norm Nixon in a bit. So
Good.
the evolution of Kareem, Rob, where it's like muddy disposition, him getting dominated by Moses Malone.
Yeah.
Moses Malone took it. People forget how great Moses Malone was.
Fantastic.
That man, they called him the chairman of the board for a reason. And it's not just getting rebounds was the thing. And I love the way they shot the battle where you felt the crunches and the hits and just the physical pounding of the game. And I quite enjoyed it. How did you like that, Rob? And showing that Kareem is slowing up. He's been in the game since 1968, and it's 1982 right now. That's about 17 years, 16, no, 14 years.
14 or 15 years.
14 to 15 years.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was told there was no math.
Sure.
That's why I'm reviewing TV shows, and not doing mathematics.
Yeah,
or science.
That's right. You're not reviewing anybody's homework.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But like that evolution of Kareem, and then we get to the point where his house burns down.
Yeah.
And he goes to there's a little scene with that I want to talk about.
Okay.
Where so he goes to his wife and kid, and she says, "We were asleep. I didn't know." And I'm like, Cheryl, no, you did something and you fell asleep and you forgot, and something bad happened.
Yeah.
And that's why he grabs the son and hugs him. And it kind of feels like they're trying to tell us where like he knows Cheryl did something, but he doesn't want to outrightly say it. So like, what did you think about that?
I thought it's interesting, but the show doesn't explain too much about their relationship at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like all of a sudden it just happened. Like, so I don't think the show has really a point to make about what happened there. I think that's just the way the actors played it. Mm-hmm. So it's just a choice that they made. Yeah, I don't know if there was anybody to blame for that fire or not. I can't remember like what the
They really don't care
what the
about their
cops have
relationship.
said. Yeah,
Their relationship means like nothing in this.
I think it's a fascinating relationship, and they could have done so much with it, but
Yeah.
yeah, they don't. But of course, yeah, it's an awful shame what happened. So much of his stuff, like all of his stuff, all of his
Everything.
personal memorabilia gone. And I love how they talk about his record collection first. It's like, well, okay, that's something you can replace. But you cannot replace a lot of that stuff. Is
a lot of the basketball stuff.
NCAA championship stuff.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, nope, can't replace it. But I love. I don't know if he just felt like there was always a disconnect between him and the fans, but loved when he shows up at the forum and everybody's there, all kids waiting to give them their parents' records. I don't know if they knew or not, but yeah, just willing to give them records. He's coming back into the locker room with a stack of records. I really like that scene.
Yeah, and then the speech. How about that, Rob? You felt galvanized. You felt a little oomph to it.
Yep.
I liked it too. Solomon Hughes, he plays him very well.
He was fantastic. He's a terrific Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I can't believe this is his like first role, at least first major role, but I think it's his first ever role. Love to see him do more stuff, and love to see what he's going to do with his hair in an episode or two. But yeah. Hopefully we get it. Like I don't know if what he's hoping now.
Well, I hope we get to.
It's just a little haircut.
Yeah. You see the ball spot. Start that other stuff. But yeah, man, he's playing it very well. I quite enjoy it.
He's fantastic.
It's fantastic.
They've all been good. All the guys that are playing the athletes have been like all the guys playing there's absolutely no problem with any acting. I think all the acting has been incredible.
Yeah, I agree with you, Rob. And then, speaking of one person acting, Devon Nixon playing his father, Norm. There's that big storyline right there where he's traded to the new San Diego Clippers, bought by Donald Sterling.
Our buddy.
Yeah. Don't say our buddy. So trash. Yeah. So they were going through we're gonna get Sven Nader and this rando first round pick named Byron Scott.
Yeah.
Disrespect. Throw in this first round pick. Who becomes Magic's running mate for the next 8 years.
Yeah. He's out on the wing.
I still can't get over that, Rob. But they were going through they're like, Donald's gonna want one of our starters, so let's start eliminating them. So he's not getting Magic or Cap. Duh. He's not gonna get who's another starter.
Well, they're not gonna take Rambus.
They're definitely not taking Rambus because it's Rambus.
Yeah.
And then it was like Nixon or Silk.
Yeah.
And you know what?
Silk was fantastic in the playoffs.
He was fantastic in the playoffs, and they're like, we're giving up Norm. And shout out to Silk, shout out to Jamal Wilkes. Jamal getting some credit. And then they traded him on his birthday, Rob. Yeah. Did you know this?
No.
I didn't know this. That's crazy.
No,
getting traded on your birthday?
Yeah, I'm sure it happens to other people.
No, it does. It's happened. I think
he's won a couple championships with these guys, and he's going. I might as well take me to Siberia. He's moving an hour and 15 minutes away.
Yeah, and San Diego's as a city, I heard great things.
Yeah, and then
even though I insulted
a couple years later, if he kept the same house, he didn't have to move.
Yeah, because they moved right back to LA. Yeah. Also, they the little scene, with future Mrs. Nixon, good old Debbie Allen.
How do you have to feel as Deshaun Nixon, having to groove up against someone who looks exactly like your stepmother? Like
no, I think it's his mother.
Oh, I thought it was his stepmother. I thought he was born before they were together.
Oh, word? Okay, I don't know. Well, you talk about it. Let me figure it out.
Sure. But yeah, either way, you have to grind up against someone who looks exactly like Debbie Allen. Spoiler alert, marries Norm Nixon. Yeah, that little disco scene to She's a Bad Mama Jamma. Love the choice. I love that song.
Yeah. Devon is not it's not one of her kids.
Right. So yeah, you have to grind up against your stepmother for a role while pretending to be your dad. So yeah, that's some fantastic acting there by Norm Nixon. And so it turns out Norm Nixon was brothers-in-law with Ahmad Rashad. So there you go. There's a little trivia for you.
Wait,
Felicia Rashad is Debbie Allen's sister. Yeah. So
Oh
Ahmad Rashad.
snap! Oh snap! Oh snap! That's true. Holy shit! That's a family right there, dog.
There you
People
go.
forget, yo man. People know Ahmad Rashad as like NBA reporter Ahmad Rashad.
Mhm.
That man was a good wide receiver in the NFL with the Minnesota Vikings.
He was pretty good.
It's pretty good. He was pretty good. Like
pretty
you know,
good.
he's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And then the scene, the whole Norm storyline culminates with this scene of, you know, he's talking to Jared and he's like, "You ain't never liked me."
Yeah.
So I know this was your decision.
I like to think there's some respect.
Some respect. And Jerry doesn't say nothing.
Yeah.
He said no respect at all. He just says just stays quiet. And then they do this, do a toast. But you know what's funny? When Debbie Allen shows up and everyone's like making fun of Norm, like, man, he trying to be on Soul Train. What's wrong with him? And his knee looking good. And then at the end, it's like Michael Cooper, the guy who plays Michael Cooper, says, man, I would risk a beat down for one night with Debbie Allen. I'm going to get my ass kicked by my wife so I can have one night with Debbie Allen. I'm like, brother,
I'd risk a beat down from Rita for one night with Debbie.
Yeah, I was like, you better chill, fool. But the biggest storyline in the entire episode, Rob, let's get right into it.
Right.
Rob, you've been alluding this for a couple of weeks now about a woman named Honey.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this
Doc Jared Buss is a little distracted with the team because the team's not playing good. They got swept by the 76ers. Mo Cheeks. Yo, shout out to them saying, hey guys, y'all remember Andrew Toney? Like, yeah, I do. Shout out to Andrew Toney. And I remember the reason I remember Andrew Toney is that Charles Barkley, someone asked him, hey Charles, who's the most talented player you ever played with? So we're all like, oh, he's gonna say Dr. J, Moses, Mo Cheeks, right? Mm-hmm. He's gonna say that. Brother says Andrew Toney, and everyone's like, wait, what? Yeah, Andrew Toney, the most talented player I ever played with. Too bad he kept breaking his foot. That's what he says. And I'm like,
well, he got Dr. J in Dr. J's last year, right? I think
So in the last 2 years. Yeah.
Not the same Dr. J.
No, I wasn't saying, but still Dr. J. I played with Dr. J. Yeah. But this brother said Andrew Toney, and everyone was like, Andrew Toney. And then in the finals, like, Andrew Toney's cooking Norm Nixon. Andrew Toney with 19. I'm like, hey, yo, shout out to Andrew Toney. So Doc Buss is distraught. He wants to fix the team. He's like, I don't want to lose no more. So you can say neglects Honey a bit.
Sure.
And then one night, it's I think about 8 a.m., 9, and Honey's walking in, messed up to the gills.
Yep.
And he finds out that she's high. And she says, I was hanging out with some old friends, and he was like, that's what I was worried about. And then they kind of devolve into madness a little. And then he comes home and she's packing and she's angry. And I'm like, oh, she's leaving him. But I did not. But then, Rob, you alluded to this a couple weeks ago. There's the confirmation.
Yeah.
Doc Buss committed bigamy.
Mm-hmm.
He committed bigamy.
Yeah. Now, Honey, of course, is a composite of there was maybe of a couple different women. But this is 100% true. He was still married to Joanne when he married his second wife.
Yeah. So he committed bigamy.
You forget things. Honestly. It's a clerical thing.
I forgot. I'm sorry. The team. It slipped my mind.
Yeah.
No, you don't, man. You don't forget divorce papers. Get out of here. What are we doing here? It's like they're around here somewhere. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And then it culminates with him being served by some random dude named Mitch Mitchelson. So that's a name. And the guy says, we're serving. And he's like, how much? And he's like, $100 million. She's like, well, but Honey's a reasonable woman. We'll negotiate. We'll settle for Magic and Kareem. And he's like, what? And then Rob, what were your feelings on that storyline and how would it played out? And now we're getting more into Doc Buss trying to survive this lawsuit.
Well, again, there's a couple more kids coming, so I don't know if they're going to come up with somebody else to this with. I thought for sure they were going to add Honey in as the mother of the upcoming kids, although they've already dropped one from the show.
It was
Well,
Jenny.
that never showed up.
Jenny.
Yeah. 100 million $1983. Remember, this guy didn't have any money. This guy, I don't know if he still has any money. Like, he could probably go and he's like, I only have $250,000. Like, I don't know where she's going to get it. It's pretty hard to get alimony from when you're not even legally married. So it's, yeah, I'm fascinated. I just know that this happened. I don't know what the outcome was yet, so I'll be eager to see. And then when it's resolved or whatever on the show, hopefully we get to get it. I don't know if it's something that they would wait for another season for, but hopefully we get to get it. And if so, then I'll look up and I'll compare about how it actually worked out and stuff like that. I want to be shown on the show what the result is. But yeah, he won 100% on the show and in real life. Is a bigamist. And the fun thing is that Joanne was living in Utah, so if he was staying in Utah, this might have not been a whole thing. But no, he's in California.
Yeah, that bigamy's illegal in California.
It turns out it's not as legal as in Utah.
No. Utah, I think you can have like 3 wives. It's fine.
Wow.
I don't know. If you're part of a denomination, we'll see. So I quite enjoyed this, man. Like, you just show how this man is. By the way, his real name is Gerald. I just want to point that out.
Dr. Bus.
Dr. Bus. Jerry. With me, it's like it just shows onions. So he's an onion. You just peel back layers upon layers upon layers upon layers, and my favorite scene with Doc is, well, John C. Reilly, is when he's in the arena and it's all quiet and Noah's there, and Jeannie walks up to him and he's like, we can't be losers again, we can't do this. And she says kind of sarcastically, because she's a little mad, he's go back to real estate, you know what I mean, like
a little
like
snipe.
a loser,
a little snipe.
A little snipe. And he's like, Girl, I swear to God. But she's like, she's right. And like, I saw a little preview of next week's episode. I'm sorry.
Wow.
But there was this one scene with him and her where she like cooks him. Like that like
Good.
There's like one line in this scene, because they only show you like a line of scene, and she says this one line where I'm like, damn.
And keep in mind, Jeannie's only 22 or 23 when this is going on. So yeah, she'll be 23, I guess, in the next episode.
Exactly.
22. Yeah.
Probably depends on the age.
She's only just started being allowed to drink.
Yeah. Even though she's been drinking for like 4 years.
And vote.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I don't know what it is to vote in the US.
18.
Is it 18? Is it 18? Yeah. There you go.
I turned 18 2 days before the election, 2 days before the election, so I couldn't vote. And I didn't know about early registration. No one told me. So I had to wait another 4 years to vote.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Voted when I was
Yeah, you couldn't vote in the don't you guys have like the mid things or whatever, midterm?
Oh yeah,
midterm?
I voted in those. Yeah. I'm talking about like president.
The very first thing I got to vote in was called the referendum, and it was about keeping Quebec as part of Canada. But
Quebec doesn't want to be a part of Canada anymore, does it?
Who knows? Like, well, whatever.
I remember the referendum. They actually talked about it in an Anthony Bourdain episode.
My buddies and I got real high and we called it the referendum, and we thought we were quite funny for saying that.
I want to get a Quebec Nordiques jersey though.
We'll talk to Adelia. It's their team now.
Yeah, it's true. But yeah, Rob, how do you like where we're going? That scene at the end where it's Doc Bus.
It's a lot. That end scene was a lot like the end scene from the week before too. Mm-hmm. That the fuck Boston beat LA stuff. Like we get it. Like we know this is coming. I just but
we didn't get the monologues though. We didn't get the monologues.
That's true.
How'd you like the juxtaposition of the monologues between Michael Chiklis and John C. Reilly, and where John C. Reilly, he's mad because he just got served with the lawsuit, so he's livid, and he says the Griffiths, like, they call this the greatest rivalry of all time.
Yeah,
this is no fucking rivalry.
No,
we're 0-7, And like, how do you like about that? And actually, I tried to do the math, Rob. In the NBA Finals, under Doc Buss, the Lakers and the Celtics are 3-3 against each other. They're 3-3 against each other. Mm-hmm. So overall, in the NBA Finals, the Lakers against the Celtics are 3-10.
Yep,
they're 3-10. Like, is that still a rivalry though? If you're 3-10,
no,
it's not. It's not. Still not a rivalry. You're 3-10.
Yeah,
you know, because they we'll talk about it next week.
In the 80s, it's a rivalry.
Yeah. Yes.
In the 80s, if you want to just put it encapsulate into one decade, it is. Mm-hmm. But historically, it is not. It's not a rivalry at all.
Exactly.
It's a.
I hope I got the 3-10
Celtics.
Right.
The Celtics had never lost a championship that they were a part of. They'd never made it to the championship and lost.
Yeah, they're undefeated at this point. Like, they're 11-0 up to that point.
Yep.
And the 12-0 because they won one.
Yep.
So they're 12-0.
They won 81.
Yep. Yeah, they're 12-0, and I like the monologue disposition, the monologue juxtaposition. My bad, where a man's telling about how we need to remind them we're kings, and one of them saying we need to tell them we're not a flash in the pan until we beat them. Like, did you like that a part of the episode?
Yeah, that was great. It's just the end part or whatever where they're just repeating the same thing they did from the week before, basically.
You're right.
Yeah, that was like whatever. But yeah, that whole thing, the thing with Fred Auerbach and Larry Bird was also fantastic, with him saying, I want their best. It's like, it's not the same if I'm not beating their best or whatever. That just shows how he is as a sportsman.
He's a psychopath.
Like that. He's a maniac.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's there while the game's going on, just shooting free throws. Like, it's a singular focus, and that's it. And it's just basketball. He's a machine, and not a very nice machine. He's not like a C-3PO machine. He's more like one of those stormtrooper machines or something like that. But yeah. So yeah, that's a great scene. It's the only time we see Michael Chiklis in the entire episode again. Just quick little clips of that, and then that one little thing at the end or whatever. So. What did you think of the I thought the montage was really cool, like how you see the ball going and it would just change places and stuff like that. What did you think of when you saw on the screen Celtics 4, Knicks 3?
You bastard! Yeah, that should have broke my heart, because that's the Bernard King teams, man. Those are the Bernard King teams where he's dropping 50 a night. And the Knicks barely winning, and the Knicks making the NBA. Oh my God, the Knicks, man. I wish Bernard King had a ring, because that would have been awesome. Because what's crazy about Bernard King? When he retired, I think he only spent like 13 years in the NBA or some shit like that.
It's a good career.
It was good. But when he retired, but here's the thing, Rob. Like, in the early part of his career, he did nothing. Like, people were like, this guy's not good. He's a bust. Like, he's not doing very well. And then he resurrected his career in New York and other stops, but it was mostly New York. It was the resurrection. When he retired, Bernard King was 7th all time in scoring. Imagine that. Yeah, he had a 13-year career.
It's consistent. Huh? He's consistent.
Yeah, he had a 13-year career. It was like very long, but like the first 3 or 4 years, he didn't do anything. He did nothing. And back in those days, people stayed 4 years in college, so their NBA career started at like 20 or 21, 22.
Yeah.
So and back in those days, your career ended by 35. But like in his full career, the man was 7th. That's how much points he scored. That man 7.
Somebody had to get the buckets in New York.
Yeah.
Who else was going to do it?
It was him. He still owns the all-time scoring record on Christmas Day. Still him, which is I believe is 62.
Oh, well, Merry Christmas.
Something. Yeah, it was. He dropped 60, at least 60 on a Thanksgiving game for the Knicks, and it's still the record today. He's scored the most points.
To be fair, there wasn't too many teams that it wasn't like it is now or whatever, with like a whole slate of games or whatever that started at like 10 o'clock in the morning and then go till whenever. But
the NFL tried to steal Christmas Day from them, and they did. When Christmas Day fell on a Sunday.
On a Sunday. Yeah.
Dude, the NFL slaughtered them. They were really hoping if Christmas Day was like Wednesday, or Tuesday, I'd be like, it's like
they asked if they could push it back a day.
yeah, like hey, let's never do that shit on fucking Sunday. That shit was brutal. Nah, bro,
Yeah.
like it was brutal. Like you know what's crazy too about that, Rob? The NBA games are awesome on Christmas Day last year. And the NFL game sucked. Like the Rams blew out a team. It was like 44-0. And you're like, not a very good game. But like the Denver Nuggets and their opponent went to overtime. And you're like, oh snap. But no one was watching because they were watching Rams Broncos.
I officially don't care about the Christmas Day NBA games because even like the Raptors have played once on Christmas Day, once. And I think that was the year we won the championship, the year after we won the championship. Yes. And that's it. So why should I care about Christmas Day? Bah humbug to NBA Christmas Day.
Well, Rob, I'm sorry. You know, no one really cares about the Raptors. I'm sorry. So
no one's
it's
south,
usually,
no one's south of here.
It's usually the same suspects. Any team LeBron James is on.
Yep. Knicks, LA.
Knicks, Lakers, Boston, Philly. But yeah,
then a Texas team will show up. A Texas team.
Yeah, but they also like rotate a couple teams. Like they added Denver for the past couple years.
Well, yeah, Phoenix. They've been good.
Yeah, they've been good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're good, you're gonna be back on. I bet you if you know the Raptors kept Kawhi Leonard for a couple of years and were good, y'all would have had a couple Christmas Day games.
I bet you if we kept Kawhi Leonard, he might have won another championship the next year.
That's also true. But to the point I'm making is, it's not like Thanksgiving where like Lions play every year.
How dare you? Listen,
you know what, Rob? See, I'm the only.
It's tradition that I'm sad on your Thanksgiving.
Rob, yeah, you're talking to the man that agrees with you. The Lions should always play on Thanksgiving. I agree.
Yeah,
keep it. I just don't like how the Cowboys stole it in the 60s. That pissed me off. Because they're like, oh, we can have a second game on Thanksgiving. Okay, it will be the second game on Thanksgiving. And now it's if the Lions and Cowboys don't play on Thanksgiving, it's not Thanksgiving football. I said it.
There you go.
I said it.
Yep.
I said it. There it is. But enough of the NFL. It's the NBA, man. What are we doing?
They can do their own show.
Yeah.
It'll probably be like the Broncos or something like that in the 80s.
Yo, what NFL equivalent would this show be?
The 49ers.
And who?
Oh, who? I don't know. They played Cincinnati twice.
They did. Cincinnati would be.
I don't know if that you consider that a rival.
No. Yeah, but Cincinnati, like, you know, by the way, those two Cincinnati Super Bowls, those were great games.
Yeah, especially the first one.
So both games end with the Niners doing something crazy at the end to save the game.
Yeah.
First one was a goal line stance, and the second one was Joe Montana hitting John Taylor for a game-winning touchdown. Cincinnati was good back in the day, man. But
if they just show the Icky Shuffle again.
Yeah, man. So someone tweeted this out a couple of I think yesterday where I saw it, where it's like this format can be translated to sport for sport, and it was like we can have a Yankees Boston show. I'm like, yeah, you can if you want to.
Yeah, you don't play for championships though. You play for the chance to get to a championship.
Yeah, it's not the same.
No.
Yeah, I don't know what tweet it was. I don't remember. But it was a good shout. But this one's a little different because it's coastal.
Maybe in the 90s, those Braves teams just how they lost those 3 times before winning, but just them always being there and stuff like that. Like that 1990
Minnesota
World Series is maybe considered the best World Series ever. So
yeah, well, that one was usually it was the Atlanta Braves versus the entire MLB. That's what it was, because they faced Minnesota, Toronto, in Cleveland, the Yankees a couple times.
Yeah, they finally beat Cleveland.
Yeah, but yeah,
maybe they shouldn't have. But
they could have won more the World Series if they made a decision to get someone else instead of Greg Maddux in that free agency.
Hmm?
We'll
never know. We'll never know.
We'll never know. But you know what we know?
Oh no.
Winning time, great show. Thank you guys so much for joining us on this review. Rob, where can people find you?
You can find me all over the place at Let's Get Ready Network. Now I'm reviewing Ahsoka for the channel as well with Justin and Danny. What else do I do? We have LGRN After Snark. That's our Twitch show on the weekends. We just talk about whatever the heck we want to talk about. And on the highlights, we do starting 11 are English Premier League podcast. So we're in an international break, so no show this week, but we'll be back next week before I do an international break the next week.
All right, y'all. My name's Ferris. You can find me at Ferris Malone on X or _Ferris_Mathana on Instagram. So there's that. I'm probably going to use Instagram more nowadays. But without further ado, I'm here every Friday, 3 o'clock Pacific. Good Friends, Better Rivals, where we talk NFL football, the American kind, as well as 8 PST. It is me, Adelia, open table every Friday at 8 o'clock. In a couple weeks, we're going to have a very special episode, a popping episode, great episode, a wonderful episode.
Maybe your best ever.
Where I get to tell someone, shut up in real life. It's going to be hilarious.
That's true.
So, that note, everyone, thank you guys so much for joining us. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see y'all next time. Peace.